It's 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun has risen. The early birds are singing. Our neighborhood is still sleeping. I get out of bed, putting on my reading glasses, anxiously stepping out of my house with makeup brush in my hand. I'm heading to my squash garden. Cutting squash is a new type. It has intense yellow-orange color inside and out. Huge. Quite common to see cutting squash over a meter long and more than 30 pounds. It has delicious sweet flavor with the texture of chestnut and sweet potato combined. It's full of goodness. Besides fibers and vitamins, it has protein and amino acid. The most amazing part is it has high healing properties. You can cut part of the squash to eat. The remaining squash will continue growing. That's why it's named the cutting squash. Cutting squash attracted me for a number of reasons. Being rich in nutrients is one of the key reasons. I have a long-time concern about food we eat. We eat food to keep us healthy. However, in today's world, there's a common concern about antibiotics, hormones, and chemical residues in our food. Ever since I started gardening at our backyard, we enjoy fresh, chemical-free vegetables all year round. On top of that, I sunbathe and get physical exercise. To me, gardening is not just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. As a new creator, cutting squash aroused great interest in our gardening club. Roughly translated, Gardens Full of Life. There are about 500 members from all over the world. Cutting squash became a star for 2021 gardening. There are no cutting squash seeds for sale on the market. Fortunately, some of our club members tried this new type before and offered to share their seeds. I was lucky. A guy in Lanley offered me 3 seeds. I had to make a special trip to Lanley just to get 3 little seeds. I mailed 1 seed to a friend of mine. The rest 2 seeds took me to a new journey. I started soaking seeds in March to speed up germination. It's exciting. Both of the seeds successfully sprouted. I plant them in small pots. The seedlings are growing really fast, like bamboo shoots after rain. It's great fun to watch them changing looks every day. By early May, the young plants are more than a foot tall. They're ready to go outdoors. I was a little nervous at the time because if they don't make for the season, I'd have to wait for a year to get another chance. In order to protect young plants, I built a bamboo plastic greenhouse for them. After transplanting, I watch them closely a number of times a day to make sure they're happy in their new home. Our neighbors joked that I take care of squash plants like little babies. When the temperature finally picks up, my cutting squash are growing vigorously. The vines are extremely thick and strong. The leaves are huge in dark gray. I was truly delighted. The plants didn't let me down. However, good times don't last long. Pretty soon, I had a problem, a good problem. My cutting squash plants are so aggressive. They were like monsters spreading fast, squeezing and creeping over on my Buddha's hand and other squash plants. It's a big mess. If I let them continue invading their neighbors, other plants might suffer serious damage and could even be wiped out for the season. To find a solution, I posted an urgent message in our gardening club asking for help. Finally, I learned to trim my cutting squash plants and tree them to leave space for their neighbors. Trimming plants is complicated. I'm still learning how many vines to keep and what kind of vines and leaves to trim. However, to avoid overgrowth problem, one thing I learned for certain is to make a good plan before planting. In July, cutting squash plants start to bloom. Big yellow flowers are really outstanding. Flowers have different structures. Some flowers have male and female organs, such as tomatoes. Other plants like squash, male and female flowers are separate. Each female flower is sitting on a baby squash. However, baby squash does not automatically grow. It needs pollination to expand. Without pollination, it will shrink and die. Flowers like tomatoes are lucky, easily get self-pollinated. A little wind can do the job. Plants like squash, pollination is a lot more complicated. They need matchmakers such as bees for help. It's well known environmental changes cause the decrease of bees. More and more gardeners become matchmakers. I'm one of them. Remember my reading glasses and makeup brush? They're my tools for pollination. Plants bloom at a different time of day. Cutting squash plants are early morning bloomers. That's why I get up early, and the first thing I do is pollinating flowers. Pollination with a makeup brush is a delicate job. I focused on brushing pollen off stamens and then carefully injecting on pistils. Cutting squash plants' pollen looks like yellow powder. It's so fine. I thought one brush stroke did the job. So I usually would brush twice or even 3 times. Some days, I see many male flowers, but no females. When that happened, I'd collect male flowers and put them in plastic bag, keep in fridge for later use. Pollinating flowers can be dangerous. A member in our club actually was stung by a bee really bad. She posted a photo of her dark purple swollen hand, really scary. So it's always wise to check for bees hiding in flowers. After 6 months hard work, finally, my cutting squash are strong, handsome grown-ups in September. Some tender squashes are picked for stir-fry and soup. 4 jumbo squashes are hanging on the vines, attracting people's eyes. They're quietly changing color from green to yellow, then to yellow-orange. By late October, 2 little seeds turned into 4 mature giants. It's time for harvest. On Halloween, I climbed the ladder to dress up my super big squashes to celebrate harvest and also put end to my 8 months unforgettable squash journey. They're so big and heavy. It takes 2 people to get them done. I can't wait to taste them. All my squashes are more than 30 pounds. I started with 2 little seeds and end up with hundreds of them. Now I can share with a friend, replant them, and roast for snacks. Let me know if you need seeds to try the cutting squash journey.